What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? I'm working on a special design tonight for one of our creatives. So I'm trying to get to the details right now. It's pretty much going to be a design from scratch, but we're just going to see what we come up with. This is the situation when I come up against a custom design that you all want that I don't have a template for. It does take me more time to do these. So typically what I do is I charge, in addition to the regular custom design fee, just to change out a template. I usually charge a $30 surcharge to do pretty much a design that I haven't done yet. So in this case, that's what we're working on tonight. And it can't really be done in an hour because I really have to plan time to do these types of artwork. So if you need some of these done in the future, just let us know. You can purchase the custom design, and then in the description, go ahead and say what you need done. And we can still, this is still a rush job because usually with my custom designs, I don't do it in anything less than 3 to 5 days. So if you choose the 1 hour rush, it's going to be more like a 1 day rush. So just to give you all an idea of what type of time it takes me to do these type of things. All right, so I'm bringing in, or I think I'm bringing in, I'm trying to click in my Photoshop right now. Here we go. And this is kind of the example image that was given to me. We're going to create something sort of off of this vibe, but of course we're going to do our own thing. And it's going to have photos in it. So we're not really going to have availability to put all this stuff in the background because we won't see it. There'll be photos there. But I am using this to kind of get an idea of how we're going to manipulate this type of design. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the background out of this. Let me see if it's even easier to do this because I like to show you all like real life tools, real life applications. So I'm going to show remove BG. All right, and then I'm just going to drag and drop the image from my folder to the browser. Let's remove this background, see what it does for me. Oh, it actually says image resolution is too high. So let me open this up, reduce the image. So I'm going to go image size, and it is huge. It's very huge. So let's take that down to about 13 by 19, 300 dpi. So we won't have any problems. Now when I do a save, I don't want to save this over my big file. I'm going to do a save as, and really and truly it shouldn't be that large of a file anyway because it's not my focal image. So I probably don't want to overdo it with the size anyhow because it will weigh down this file. So let's go on back to my remove BG. Here we go. Let's see if it can remove the background for this one. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and download the high resolution. Let me go log into my account so I can use up my credits. Now, excuse me if I have to cough or clear my throat. I am getting better, but I'm not 100% quite yet. So, but I'm still here in full action. All right, so let me go back to my remove background. I can download my high resolution using my credit now. And then I'm going to show you a feature inside Photoshop too. If you don't use remove BG, there is a feature to select the subject. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it does not. So let me show you the difference. I'm going to go ahead and pull in the image that doesn't have the background removed. Hit enter to go ahead and lock in that size. I'm going to go to my magic wand tool, and I'm not even going to select anything. I'm going to go to select subject and see it's going to use its smarts, its brains to figure out what the subject is. And as you can see, it got very close, but I also have these areas in here selected, which this image should be easy to cut out because it looks like it was already isolated. Isolated means that the original artist went ahead and cut it out, even though they may have put it on a white background. But I could use my additive feature here. So let me see if I hover over this, if it'll tell me the real name of it. Add to selection, and I can come into these little spots here. And actually I want to subtract these parts. So if I hold down Alt, it will subtract. And I can go in there and take out these extra little inside pieces. Control plus to zoom in. I'm holding down Alt to delete those spaces here, but this has already been cleanly cut out, so that's the reason why this is so easy. And then I could select the inverse now. That means it's going to, everything it had selected before, it's going to select the opposite. So now we've got our opposite selected. We're on opposite day. I remember playing that as kids. Oh my gosh, we were so aggravating as kids. Oh gosh, opposite day. All right, so let's go ahead and do selected mask. The reason why I'm going to do this is because I want to make sure I get a clean mask, and sometimes we have to turn the smoothing up a little bit because we have those little jagged marching ants, and sometimes we have to feather just slightly, maybe 1 pixel to 3 pixels depending on how large your object is or how large the file size is. Now I hit OK, but I'm not going to cut this out. I'm going to create a layer mask. Control Z, select the inverse, and then I'm going to create a layer mask from that. There we go. So it cut it out actually better than Remove BG, because you see my highlight right here in this area? Remove BG thought it was white, which was the background color, and it removed that particular space of color. But let me see if it may have done better somewhere else. No. Okay, we're going to go with my cutout then. Alright, so that's the first thing first. And if any of you took the course that we did last Sunday, we did a course on color changing. So we're going to do a little color changing here tonight. So I just happened to find a silver helmet, but what I'm going to do for this is probably make a template out of it. And once I do make a template out of it, I will probably make it to where these components are colored. And we will implement some of those color change techniques that we learned in class. So for this one, I don't think I need to change any colors because we're going to go with the Patriots as the theme. So they already have silver, blue, and we'll add a little red in there. Let's see, what else do we need? Excuse me, loves. Let's see. We may go ahead and find a logo to bring in. Let's see. So let's go ahead and make it full Patriots theme. Now, if I do make this into a template and I do have it available online, it will not have the Patriot stuff in there because y'all already know how that goes. But I will show you, if you're using this for personal use, how to pull it up and find it for yourself. So we're going to do Patriots logo. I'm going to look for SVG. SVG is a scalable vector graphic, and an SVG does not lose its resolution no matter how large you make it. And I'm pretty sure I have this somewhere, but sometimes it takes less time to find it than it does like find it all over again on the web than it does to find it in my files. And I'm looking for the one that has the white surrounding already on it. Let's go back and choose the file size. So tools, size, I'm looking for anything large. There is a website that I went to that I know had all of the logos. I just can't remember what the name of it was. It was like a sports website. Let's see, that is a JPEG. And that's probably not even large. That one might be good enough to use right there. I like to find the SVGs because I know that they're scalable. I'm not allowing that, buddy. And y'all have to be careful about these files and stuff too. I'm going to right click, open image in a new tab. If I open it in a new tab and it still has the checkerboard there, that means it is not a PNG. Just to let you all know how that works. Jeez Louise. Let me see if I can just find a PNG. And we're looking for a large size. And I probably need this one too. For the lower portion. I'm going to open the image in a new tab. See, when I open it in the image in a new tab, it should not show the checkerboard behind it. If it shows the checkerboard, that means it's not truly transparent. Just to let you know. So this one I was able to do it without clicking on all this spammy stuff here. And that's just part of the game. If you're going to be downloading this type of artwork, you just have to have some kind of understanding of what may or may not be good files, clean files, etc. Now, I think this one would be good enough. It's not exactly clean either, but I think it would be good enough. That one's definitely not transparent. We'll go ahead and use this one. I see it's not exactly as clean as I would want it, but that's why I usually stick with SVGs and vectors. I just don't want to spend a lot of time of that on this video because I'm not going to be giving you any type of NFL stuff anyhow. I usually do it for examples because it definitely gets attention, so I do it in my example videos, but most of the time you'll notice that even if I do it as an example, that's not when you receive the file, it'll probably have some local high school or little league players and that sort of thing. So that's why. All right, so let's see. Where are we in our design right now? I have an arm. In our color change class, there are two major things that we learned to change, which were, one was skin tone. So I'm probably going to change this to a more brown skin tone, medium brown skin tone. And then the other thing that we learned to change was just like, for instance, someone's shirt. So if I needed to change this glove from blue to red, we went over how to do that in that class. All right, so I'm going to bring the helmet logo in. So I'm just pulling it right in from my folder. That's one. And then I'll pull the other one in, which is the word mark. All right, and I'm just bringing in elements. I'm not going to do this exactly like this image because we're always going to have something extra to do and to add. All right, so as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty much all I need from that. And let's see, the other elements that I need to bring in is, of course, the photos. Let's find those, and we'll do remove BG for the photos as well, unless we can't do it. And if that's the case, then I will let you know what the problem what the problem is and why we can't do that. That's one, and this one worked out well. There's two. And these happen to be pretty high resolution images, or at least, I would say high resolution, considering most of the screenshots and stuff that I get of photos. So I'm really happy when I can have higher resolution images. And this one, we'll probably even flip this image so that the number reads correctly, because I'm sure it was probably like a mirror image, something to that effect. So we're going to go ahead and download the high resolution of these and use up our credits. One, two, and you see how this cuts us out way quicker than I could even demonstrate to you. And I am not quite expert level Photoshop, but I'm pretty well seasoned. And this Remove BG is a tool that I choose to use. So that is definitely an indication of how powerful I think this tool is for you. And the thing is, it's a tool. It's not a solve all problems. So we still have to learn how to manipulate backgrounds and take out images and work with things when Remove BG does not do what we want it to do. So I'm just dragging and dropping it onto my artboard from my folder. And I'm hitting enter to lock in the transformation of it, dragging it in. And at least I know how many images I need to put on there. This is going to end up being a 13 by 19 design. But as most of you know, nowadays I end up designing things for you all with the overall or all over thing first, and then I'll break it down to a 13 by 19. And I usually show you that process. All right. So I think for this one, I'm going to maybe even grab like a football stadium background. Let me see if I have one already in my folder. Or I don't have to download anything. I'm pretty sure that I do. It just takes forever. I have so many files on my system that it does take forever to search. All right, I think I caught one real quick while it was moving. Oh, this is not large enough resolution though. I don't think so. We'll see. All right, and I'm going to reduce the size of my arm with the helmet. And one thing I am going to do is bring all of my images below my template here and turn on the one that says turn off for printing, because this layer shows me, and this is a free file, just the all over template in general, because it kind of teaches you and trains you to stay within this dotted line or this dotted box for your necessary content. That means things that if you cut off, you wouldn't be able to make sense of it. So you want to keep your words, any text, your faces. So if you have a face outside of this area, you definitely don't want a face like right here. It'll go into the armpit and possibly get cut off. You can probably be a little bit safe up here if you're doing all overs, but you have the seams of the shoulder there. So you don't want to put people's faces right in seams, because you don't know how it's going to turn off, and sometimes it can look mighty awkward. So this is why I say this is a safe zone. So if you play in this area, you're safe. You go outside of that area, you might make it look cooler, because granted, things look way cooler when they're all over, but you chance getting something cut off when you're doing your small or your medium shirts. All right, so I'm going to take this logo. I may do a version of the logo like large in the background, and then may do a smaller version on the helmet. We'll just see however everything works out. I'm going to do Control T just to transform, make that smaller. And I did rotate it a little bit because my helmet is rotated. And there are some techniques that we can use to make this look like it's more rounded on there, but it's really not necessary. Now what I will do, is when I zoom in, I want to make sure that my straps and things of that nature are not underneath the sticker, because that doesn't look very realistic. The other thing that I will do is I'll probably play with the blend mode a little bit. In fact, let's do normal. Let's just bring the opacity down a little bit. That way I can see where the strap is. And what I'll do is create a mask. So wherever the helmet is, I'm going to create a group on top of that. Not a layer, excuse me, a group, a folder. And we're going to call this the helmet logo. And then what I will do is go ahead and create let's just go ahead and make this a smart object. So the helmet logo itself, we'll create and convert it to a smart object. And then that way when I double click it, this is where you would actually pull your logo into. And this logo, I'm going to maintain 100% opacity. Oh, I know what I should have done. Let me delete that. I'm going to bring in the one that is in the correct orientation, which is this one. And honestly, we don't even need it that big. I'm going to shrink it a little. Or let's make it larger. And if I make it a smart object, I can make it update on the main image and also on the helmet. So I'm going to leave it big right here. Tell it yes, I want to update that. So where is my smart object? Helmet logo. And then I'm going to duplicate this layer. And I'm going to call the other one my background logo. So I'm going to have a helmet logo and a background logo. And I am duplicating my smart object. Seems like it's taking a little while because it is a rather large file that I'm making here. So we'll do background logo. And then I can get rid of both of those. So later I can go ahead and change those out to a more generic logo for the sake of the template. All right, so for the background image, I think we will kind of have it about this size. We'll probably bring the transparency down. We'll bring the fill down instead of the full opacity. That way, if I decide to put a drop shadow or anything else, it will keep the opacity of the effects, but only change the opacity of the initial image. All right. So if my hand and my helmet is in the proper orientation, then what I'm going to do is bring this background logo to right before the background. There we go. And then, of course, we need to modify this one here, so the helmet logo. And then in the future, if this were a template, all you would have to do is just double click on the word helmet logo and switch out that logo there. All right, let's do Control T to transform it. So now we're going to rotate. And we are going to bring down the opacity just temporarily so we can create a folder here. And here we will put this as the this is going to be the helmet clipping. CLIPPING. I can't really see. My screen looks really small right now. All right, so let's zoom in a little bit. And I'm just going to make sure I use the pen tool here and kind of, depending on what your logo is, because your logo might be more round, so I may have to do quite a little bit of cutting here. Or I can do the opposite. And let me just look for the areas. Let's see if my magic wand is going to help me out. No, these colors are a little too close. I can change my tolerance to maybe 15. And then what I'm trying to do is just get around these elements. So basically make it to where when you drop this logo on here, it will only color in the space where the helmet is. And here I can't use select subject because it won't know that I'm only trying to select this gray here. So I'm trying to use this this magic wand tool. You can also use the quick selection tool. Sometimes that is just a little too much, and I can bring down my size here. But you can toggle between the add and subtract to the selection. So let's say, for instance, I need to subtract from this selection because it's not, the logo isn't supposed to go over this part of the strap, including this dark part, this black. So the program is trying to guess with its little quick selection here what part I don't want it to select. And see, it overguessed here. But it's doing all right about here. And then I go with my plus sign and I want to add to the selection here. And it's trying to smarten up. But see how it's just continually selecting what I don't want it to select? Let me bring down the size of this brush here. And then that way, when I'm adding and subtracting, I can get a little more accurate. Here we go. Okay, that's pretty accurate. And here I want to subtract because I don't want it to grab this part of the helmet. Although your logo may or may not get into this area, I'm just trying to anticipate that it might. This particular logo definitely doesn't go down into this area. So I really don't have to worry about that for this project. But I probably will have to clean that up later if I'm talking about templating this type of design, which I think you all would appreciate this one. All right, so get back on in here. There are other tools we can use. It's Polygon Lasso. We're going to do a whole class in the Academy just on selections and cutting out. When I tell you there's so many different things you can do, it is a little confusing, but almost endless options. Now I'm going to go ahead and choose the addition selection because I want to add first. Let's see. All right, and then if I want to subtract, I don't have to toggle between add and subtract. This is add, this is subtract. I can just use my Alt button when I want to subtract. So I'm holding down Alt to subtract, and you can hold down Shift to add, but I just like to make it automatically add and then use my Alt just to subtract. Oops, I should have been on add mode there. And subtract here because I wanted to kind of not go over this area here. And this does not have to be perfect. Like I said, most logos aren't going all the way down here or, you know, all the way up here, but I will do better masking later because I'm going to make it to where you can color these components. So for right now though, for the purpose of what we're doing, I'm going to go ahead and go to my helmet clipping and I want to create a new mask, but I have to be very aware of what I'm clipping. So let me show you what happens if you just hit the clipping, the new layer mask. Whatever you have selected is active will fill in those pixels and ignore anything outside of that selection area. Well, if I had selected the opposite, then it would have shown everything on the strap and not shown anything on the helmet. Therefore, I would have had to go to layer, would have had to go to my layer mask, and you can choose whatever you have selected, whatever meat you have selected, whether you want to hide it all or reveal it all. Okay. And we all know that with these layer masks, black is going to conceal and white is going to reveal. So if you look at my little thumbnail over here, now I'm saying, let me see if I can increase my thumbnail size. I almost forget how to do this because I don't do it often. I can't remember how to do it right now. I don't do this often. I usually have my setup the way that I want it, but I reverted to an old Photoshop, and I thought the option would just be right here, but it's not. Let me right click on a thumbnail. There we go. I want medium-sized thumbnails. You can even do large thumbnails. We'll put it on large thumbnails. Maybe you'll be able to see it better. All right, so now what I was talking about is this layer mask. The white is revealing, and then the black, which includes the strap area, is concealing. So it looks like my logo goes behind that strap, but in all actuality, I can move my logo because it's inside of that folder. And anywhere that I move the logo, it looks like it's behind the strap. And this is why I spent a little time making it to where it wouldn't go on the shield part of the mask, because I want to make sure that if you did have like a round logo or a taller logo, you still were protected down there. So that looks good. Now I can bring my opacity. I'm not going to bring it all the way up to 100% because it looks like a straight up sticker. I'm going to bring it down, bring the fill down to maybe like 80. I want my full color though. I just don't like when the sticker looks like a true sticker on there. And if you want to, you can do something like place a drop shadow on it to make it kind of look like it's applied. But of course, I'm going to bring that opacity down so that it doesn't look too applied. There we go. That looks sort of natural to me. But it still stands out. And the point is not to make something look exactly like it is quote unquote supposed to look, but to give you whatever appeal you want for design. Now, I'm also seeing that the blue in the glove is different from the navy blue. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to go to the hand and arm, and this is what we worked on class number 112 in the Innate Academy. We worked on color changing. So let's do that now. Let's go to layer. Let's do a new adjustment layer. We're going to do hue saturation. That pops up. And I'm going to use the previous layer to create a clipping mask because I don't want this hue saturation change to affect anything else other than this image. So I don't know what color this is. I'm going to assume it's either blue or cyan, but if I don't want to assume, I can use my little finger here. Select the finger. It turns into an eyedropper, and I can click, and it tells me that those are blues. Now, sometimes you have to guess if they're blues or cyans. You may not know. As a matter of fact, if I pull this down, I still see a little bit of blue there. So that area is probably cyan. And if I want to know, I'll go to cyan and I'll bring down the saturation or crank it up. And lo and behold, there's some cyan in here. So I'm going to take the cyan. I'm going to bring it all the way down to cancel it out, because I don't even want my silver to have blue in it. So I'm going to go to my blues now, crank my saturation up, see where my blues are. And I know that I want to kind of match this color here. So what I can do is I can bring the saturation down, because a navy blue is not a very saturated color. for the most part. It's a more dull color. So you're bringing it closer to gray. That's one step. And then another step is, well, it's not a medium value. So your value is really how close is it to a medium gray, a light gray, a white, or a dark gray or black. So in this case, navy blue is closer to a dark gray / black. So I can bring it closer to there. And my lightness, or in this case, the darkness, brings it closer to that navy. Now, another thing I'm noticing is that maybe I have a little more of a purple tint to this blue, which is the hue. So the hue is the actual color, whether it's a purple, a blue. In this case, it looks like a blurple, like a purpley blue, which I can't stand printing blurples. So a lot of times I will manually change a color to be closer to the blue instead of the pink or purple, because it makes it that much easier to not print purples. And you know where it's going, because if you move it closer to purple, you can see, oh, that's getting into my purples and magentas. So I'm going to force it to go the opposite way, which is usually towards the blues and greens. Okay, now this is not a perfect color match, but I think that's it. It's good enough, good enough. Let's see, what else do we want to do? I told you we would do a little color change here to the arm, because we're going to make it pretty much his skin tone. So this is him as the fan. So we're going to reimagine. This is his memorial piece. We're going to reimagine him as the super fan that he is. So let's do it. So right now, I'm going to take the portion of the arm and kind of mask out where I want to recolor. And I do see that it didn't do quite a great job of cutting out there. So we can clean that up later too. But for now, I'm going to go with what I know I need to do. So I'm going to do the pen tool. I'm going to zoom in and kind of cut around where the glove is. And I am clicking and dragging. I'm not just tapping with my mouse. I'm clicking and dragging to create curves. So this is another class that we're going to do. We did a little bit of this in our 112 color change class. And the reason why I'm coming all out here is because this is a PNG. So if I come out here to the outside and I apply it as a clipping mask to this image, it really doesn't matter that I'm coming outside and coloring outside the lines. So sometimes it's worth it to know when it's necessary to be precise and when it's unnecessary to be precise, and you can save some time. That just comes with more practice in Photoshop. All right, so I have this basic little area here. I can turn it into my own little shape here, which is what I'm going to do. Just going to turn it into a shape. And it automatically defaults it to my black and white fill color. But what I can do is click on the color, and I'm going to choose his skin tone. All right, and I'm going to choose an area that I think is kind of neutral. And then that way, if we need to make it lighter, darker, less red, less yellow, etc., we can kind of manipulate the color from there. And I'm trying to get one that's not, I should have balanced my color first. Like if I felt it was a little more red or anything like that, we could have done that first. But I think that's a good color there. Let's back up. And let me grab this color. I'm going to copy that hex code, and then I'm going to make sure that my shape is actually that color, because I didn't have the shape selected, so I was just really randomly selecting the color. All right, so now we're going to play with blend modes. How is this going to affect change to the image underneath? So I'm just going to try, I'm going to go to darken first, and I'm going to try my different blend modes to see if I get what I want. So right now that's multiply. Multiply is going to usually appear a little bit darker than the color you selected, because that's exactly what sublimation does. Sublimation multiplies. So if you sublimate on a white shirt, it looks exactly like what you printed. But if you sublimate on a gray shirt, a pink shirt, etc., it's going to have different, a different color effect, right? So that's exactly what multiply does. If the arm below was green, then it would have a different effect to multiply. So I'm going through my little blend modes here and seeing what works best. And in our color change class, we went over how you can change it to a lighter color. So if you're making more fair skin versus more brown skin, or even very, very dark skin tones, you're going to play with different things. You're going to play with the blend mode. You're going to play with the color that you choose. The color that you choose is not always going to be exactly that color. You're going to manipulate. That's what you learn in this process. Usually I can do something like hue or color and it does just fine. In this case, it's not exactly doing what I want it to do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose multiply. That's one of my favorite ones. It's what I do when I do a mock-up graphic on a t-shirt. I use multiply to make it look like it's really on the shirt. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring down the fill, which is really the opacity of that individual color, and see if I get what I want. And I think that's it right about there. Okay, that works for me. I'm going to go ahead and click off of this, see if that looks real to me. And then I'm going to, oh, it's already clipped to this arm, so I didn't even have to clip it. Perfect. All right, so we have kind of our background image. You already know I don't play about these little abrupt cutoffs here. So I'm going to take the entire arm with the helmet. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and rasterize this layer here. Well, maybe I don't need to yet because I really want to figure out how I'm going to do the color change for this. So for right now, I'm going to grab everything that's in this image, put it in a folder. It's all in that folder. And go back and take it out of the group, and I'm going to put everything including that logo in a group. Then that way, when I create a layer mask for it, I'm masking it all at one time. So I'm grabbing my brush here. It's huge. So I'm going to do Control Alt, right click, bring it down, brush size, and just kind of fade that off a little bit. Okay. Now my next thing, I'm going to take a peek at my image again just to make sure that I'm staying on task. So I have hand holding the helmet, have a logo, and then a Watermark logo towards the bottom. And this may or may not be exactly what we keep, but at least we have something. So I'm going to name this one Word Art or Watermark. Usually a logo, especially for a team, has an actual logo and then a Watermark logo. So we're going to take the Watermark logo and drag it above everything else. And I still have to make sure that I'm within this space here. So I do have to resize this. And then let me go ahead and turn off some of these background or the image that I was working with before. Because believe it or not, I'm working on something else. I have the wrong file online for one of my downloads, so I have to correct that and clean that file up and re-upload it. Okay, so let's see, how are we working here so far? And let me turn off our photos just to kind of give me an idea of what our initial image looks like. Because I want to make sure it's really clean, it makes sense. I also want to make sure that I have a 13 by 19 mask when this is done with, and I'll show you how to do that. Even if you design in an all over, you want something that you can print out for 13 by 19 because most likely that's what you're going to be printing for your clients. I do see that outside of this area, I'm going to need to kind of fade this off. I already know that, but let's see if I can do so in a more creative way. So that's the reason why I have my little paint splash stuff here, because I'm going to basically reuse this. So we'll take this football field and I'm going to drag it all the way to the back. Right. I'll turn down my splashes a little bit so I can see where I may or may not want to use any of these elements. And then of course, I'm going to disable some of the things that I don't want to see right now. And let me save as. So this one is going to be an all over. And arm holding helmet football logo plan. I just try to remember what's in there, so y'all will probably have to rename files when you download them for me, because I do put almost everything I can think of into the title, so that if I ever forget, I can say to myself, what was that one with the arm holding the helmet on the football field? And bam, I can find it. Alright, so we'll leave it at that. And that's going to go into the template folder. And then what I think I'm going to do, I won't use this paint splash like the other one because I already have a template like that. So I'm just using it to kind of get an idea of how far I want this background to play into the background of the shirt. Alright, so let's go ahead. The front effects, I really do like those. And I may end up using some of this kind of splash color once we pull our image in, because we may need something for it to pop off of. So we shall see. And I'm going to go ahead and use these elements, but I'm going to place them below my field. There we go. Alright, so now for my football field, I'm going to grab some of this paint splash here, and let's see, which one is it? Right click on it. This is paint 4. And as a matter of fact, let's do an overall new layer. We're going to paint over this. So I'm going to show you what happens when I right click and create a clipping mask. So let me grab my paintbrush here, and I can go ahead and crank this back up to 100% opacity. And I'm just going to paint on this layer to pretty much match the colors here, to see if at least on this outside I can make it look like this particular football field is spilling out onto the shirt. And I want to bring this in because even on my smallest shirt I want to see my lights. Alright, so I'm grabbing my paintbrush. I'm going to paint on this brand new layer that I created. And I'm going to bring this layer above my football field right now. Alright, so Alt, I'm picking up that color right there and I'm painting. I'm picking up this color right here and I'm painting. This color here and I'm painting. And this just kind of makes it feel like I'm expanding this image, when in actuality I'm just picking up a few colors that are close by and just letting that ride. There's nothing too technical about what I'm doing right now. Selecting a color and just pulling that color, painting that color out on the outskirts of this layer. Now, I'm not painting on the image. You notice I'm painting on a new layer. So just in case I fudge it up, I'm okay with myself because it's on a whole new layer. All right, and as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and turn off these t-shirt layers right now because I want to make sure that I cleanly bring it all the way out. You can see what I'm doing a little bit better too. Let's say I put a little too much of one color somewhere where I didn't need to. This is paint, essentially. So I can bring it out as far as I want. Now it gets to look a little fake when you start pulling the grass in that way, but I would still do it just because of the fact that you don't know how much of the shirt is going into the bleed area, so you just want to be aware of that. Now for down here, I would probably fade this up from black just to kind of be a coverall color because this grass is not meant to really be the focal color. So I'm going to create a whole new layer for that. And let me go to y'all's comments just to see if y'all have any questions as I'm going along. Hey Vi, I'm glad that you're excited to catch a live. This is just me randomly working on a project that I probably will turn into a template for you all. Let's see, how do you sublimate on a gray shirt? The exact same way that you sublimate on a white shirt. You just need to make sure that it's a polyester shirt. So 21M has some good, and I would make sure it's like a heather gray. Don't go with a dark gray unless you just want to see the blacks, because what happens is whatever the base color of your shirt is, that's going to be your baseline. That's going to be your white per se. So if you sublimate on a hot pink shirt, wherever you see white, that's going to be the hot pink. And then any other color is going to multiply on top of that hot pink. So let me give you an example. A pink may or may not show up on a pink shirt. So it has to be darker and it has to be substantially a different hue for it to show up. Another example, if you try to put green, if green is in your design and you try to sublimate green onto a hot pink shirt, well, that green is not necessarily even going to look green. It might even look brown or like a weird purplish color. You just don't know unless you kind of have experimented with doing that example image on a sample of that background color. So same thing applies with the grays. The grays are just a neutral color, but if you do too dark of a gray, you may not see your image so well. If you do a heather gray or sport gray, I think heather grays and sport grays sublimate beautifully, as long as, of course, they are polyester shirts. All right, so, oh yeah, I was bringing in my gradient here. So let me grab my gradient from over here where my paint bucket is. And I'm just going to do straight up black. So I'm going to hold down. I'm in my inside meat. And as a matter of fact, let me Control Z for a second, because obviously I didn't have black selected. I'm going to make sure that my default is selected, where I go from my foreground color to transparent. That's really important. If you don't do the foreground to white, you will cover up stuff. But if you do foreground to transparent, it will be invisible or transparent in the areas where there is no color. Now I'm starting on my inside meat. Let me show you the difference. That's my inside meat. I'm holding down shift to make sure it goes straight. That's me selecting the inside meat. If I select the outside meat and try to make a gradient, you see how I can still see that hard line there? Stay inside the meat, okay? So I'm on the inside meat of my field. Then I pull up. The longer I pull this tail, the more gradual my gradient is. The shorter I pull this tail, the shorter my gradient is. Okay, so I think that about sums it up to what I want it to look like. So I'm going to bring my guides back, because without them I am lost. Patty, are you sure it's 100% polyester? A lot of times your heather shirts are going to be a polyester blend. Unless it is one that is specifically telling you that it's a 100% polyester shirt. But I've sublimated on some really nice, I've used the Jersey's 21M Sport Gray, and the Gildan 420 or 42,000. They're the same shirt. Depending on which supplier you get them from, they just have a different number or a more extended number. But those sublimate beautifully too. It's just really hard for me to find them consistently in all sizes. So for instance, I stopped offering them because they would just run out of larges randomly and you will never know when they get them back in stock. So for me, I don't like to offer something I can't stand behind. So I just stuck with only white shirts. Okay. Now you may have something like 50-50, and 50-50s will sub 50% of the way. So if you imagine your graphic, if I brought my opacity for my entire graphic, if I brought it down to 50%, you can imagine that more of the background of the shirt would show through. All right, let's see. What else do we have to do? Let's turn off this text here. We'll go to that text. Just turn it off momentarily. Now, I don't know if we're going to do any type of text on this one. So I'm actually trying to figure out, let me make sure my love is here, who we're designing for. I have to go to my email, so y'all give me just a moment just to make sure nothing crashes. Lakeisha, if you're here, say something in the comments, please, love, because you can probably help me make sure that I'm getting this the way that you want it portrayed. Okay. All right, so I'm going to keep on going. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and we are going to turn off this text until she tells me what text that she wants on here. Now this Patriots, it looks a little off, and it is a little off because, and knowing me, I'm going to go back and find the vector version of this, because one thing my daddy told me is, you're going to do it right. If you're going to do it at all, do it right. And if you can't find the time to do it right the first time, when will you find the time to do it over? So if I can't get it right, if it doesn't look right enough for me, then I will. And I think I will, because this does not look clean to me. And although this is not what I would be selling to you all, I still feel like I should clean it up at the very, very least. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is see if I can find, I know I can find this. I know I can find this vector. Why am I letting this Patriots word mark logo? Sportslogos.net, that's where it is. So this is the one. Should be able to right click, open the image in a new tab. Oh, this one is trash too. I'm really trying to figure out why this is so hard to find now. I guess maybe not NBA, the NFL has been cracking down on the logos and representation of its trademarked images, which I wouldn't be surprised. But I think this is the one that had it where you could have the SVGs, so I'm not understanding. And really, I just want the word mark. Maybe this is why those logos had the outline on them. And this is as big as it gets, so that's not what I want. So let me go all the way on back and find something that I'm okay with using. So let's go Tools. We'll go SVG and see if we find it. Count on Wikipedia to give us the full version of it. Let's see Wikipedia. Is it PNG? Original file is SVG. Let's click on it. It looks tiny and mighty. But if I save as and it's an SVG, it doesn't have to be a large file. SVGs can be as tiny as they want to be. And the beautiful thing about vectors, which is the reason why they're called vectors, is because they are mathematically created with little bitty points. And those points create shapes, and no matter how small or big you blow them up. And this will have to open in Illustrator. But you know what? I think I can combine what I already have, so I don't have to open this in Illustrator. Let me just straight up drag and drop that into Photoshop. And I'm going to show you the difference. It comes in tiny, right? But an SVG, when I blow it up, you're never going to lose resolution because it is a vector graphic. All right, so now let me put that same outline. Matter of fact, I can copy the layer style and paste it. And see how much cleaner? Let me zoom in here. With the vector image, see how much cleaner my outline is? It seems very subtle, but it's a lot cleaner. So I'm going to just call this word mark, even though it is not word mark quite yet. I'm going to get rid of that old nasty one. And I can take my big logo, which is my background logo, drag and drop it here, and I'm going to call this the word mark logo. And now Control T to transform it. I'm going to make it small. And then I will bring it back to full opacity for that fill. And I just kind of just made my own version of that word mark. It is not perfect. If I would have thought about it before I deleted the other one, I probably would have placed it right on top and made it the same scale and everything. But who gonna check me, boo? Okay, so looking good, looking good. Word mark logo is going to stay with the word mark. I am going to link these together with this chain. So with this chain, ivy wed, and it's a lot like marriage, can seem a lot like chains too. So if you need to make that comparison, just to remember what that chain is for, your chain for life. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, so now these will not move independently unless I unchain them. Okay. All right, so I think I have my baseline to my image how I want it. Now I'm going to go ahead and reinitiate my images just so I can get an idea of how many I have to put in here and what they're going to look like, what my general placement will be. And for this one, I think I'm going to bring the main faces, or whatever the main image is, I'm going to bring it in front of the arm, and then anything that I want extra, I'll bring behind the arm. So I'm trying to determine which one I want to be the main image. The one with him smiling and smirking, it really kind of speaks to me, because I'm sure that's how most want to be remembered, especially most with a phenomenal personality. So I'm going to place that behind the helmet, but I'm going to make sure that the helmet doesn't take on so much that it doesn't leave me space for his face, okay? Because this is his shirt, and although the team is definitely a focal point, it's not the focal point. So I just want to be aware of that. All right, and again, once I get these placed, y'all already know I'm going to fade out these pictures. Y'all know I don't play about that. And this one, okay, so for this image, it is beneficial because it really goes with the theme, but I do see that some of the image is cut off. So you know how I feel about that. We're going to fix that. And also, because it's a mirror image, it looks backwards. So let's go ahead and Control T to transform it. I'm going to right click and I'm going to flip this horizontal. So now his number looks like it's going the proper way. And I added bonus, if I'm going to layer this, now I don't have to worry about that arm looking like it just falls off of nowhere off the picture. So I don't mind if this is outside my image area a little bit, because his face and his jersey number are inside of my safe area. Okay, and now that's just a little bit of the hat I will have to fade off here. So let's go ahead and start that fade off. I'm going to create a layer mask. And okay, Lakeisha, I see you being all quiet in the background there. If there's anything that you want me to change, or you want to put in any input, just feel free to chime in. And when I'm not talking to myself and over talking, I'll look up at the comments and I'll see, or the chat, and I'll be able to see what you say, okay? Especially if I ask you, like, for instance, do you want to put any words on this? In love and memory, do you want to put any words in particular that you can think of that mean something? If you even want to just put his name, some people put name, sunrise and sunset dates, whatever you feel like you want on this design. If you could type it to me right now, then that way I can copy and paste the words and I don't have to worry about misspelling anything or mistyping the wrong dates. Okay, so if you can work on that while I'm playing with the design, that would be wonderful. If you don't need any other text other than this, that's fine too. So I'm going to use my soft brush here on this layer mask. White reveals, and right now it's revealing everything. So I'm going to use my black, make sure I have black selected. And the way that I do that is I can always click on my default swatches, and it's always going to be black and white. I'm going to bring my black to the forefront, and that's what I'm going to be painting with. So I am painting on my layer mask and not this actual image. Now let me make it a little bit bigger so I get a little more drastic effect with my fade off. All right, that's one. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the shirt, the red shirt image. I'm going to just fade it off here. That way I don't have to worry about these really intense lines that can sometimes just throw you off a little bit. And what I may do for this one is I may add some clouds to it just to kind of give it a little bit of balance of white down here, but it's not necessary. I'll just show you how, if you want that element in there, you can bring it in with one of the brushes from the Innate Lab brush pad. And I can't see what's on this side, so what I'm going to do is turn my helmet area off temporarily. And the only reason why I'm fading it off, normally if I knew the helmet was going to hide it, I would just leave it there. But just in case I relocate that image, I want to make sure that it looks clean enough to move anywhere. And I had to bring this brush size down. If I kept it big, it would fade off part of his face too, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so it looks good to me there. Looks like I forgot to fade off the top of this hat here, so I'm going to go back to the layer mask layer for this one. And I'm just going to gently fade off the top of that hat a little bit. All right, so now I can bring back my helmet. I can even select the helmet here. So I'm going to select the arm here. Where is that? And I can erase the part of the image here that is in front of his arm. So the way that I'm not going to actually erase it, I'm just going to mask over it. So I'm going to, well, let me not mask it yet. Let me make sure I have it exactly where I want it first. That's my first point in position. So let's resize this image because I don't think we're going to do it that large. And like I said, the main point is I want to make sure that his face is inside of this area so it doesn't have any chance of getting cut off. And I'm just doing my best to make sure that I put things where it makes sense to me. Go ahead and hit enter to lock that transformation. Choose my move tool. I'm going to grab this group, bring that up a little bit so I see more of the hand with the helmet. And then this image, the reason why I didn't put the image here is because I was trying to kind of preserve the image in the background there. And sometimes I don't know if, we're going to use all of the images or just some of them. So let me know, Lakeisha, if it starts to look too busy to you and you say, okay, well, let's just use this picture and this picture. I can absolutely do that as well. So I'm going to use this helmet to kind of distract us from the fact that the top of this hat is gone. And then this picture, there we go. And this picture has a little gray in it. It balances with that. So I think it all comes together. I just wanted to make sure his face was not anywhere outside of this box where it could be cut off. So I think we have decent placement here. I just wanted to show you all, if you wanted to add anything extra, like maybe clouds, then we can grab our brush and we can grab let's grab one of our cloud brushes here. I want one of the full clouds here. And then in order to put the cloud down, I need to be on a new clean layer. So I'm going to place that layer even above the photos. So you'll notice a lot of my templates, I have front clouds and back clouds. My front clouds are usually clouds that I want in front of everything. And let me increase the size of this because I want a pretty big cloud right now. And I'm just going to stamp. Right now the cloud is black, but I'm going to do a color overlay and turn that cloud white with the normal blend mode. Control T is going to allow me to transform it, and I can rotate it around. And again, I'm designing this as an all over, but I'm also keeping in mind that eventually I'm going to crop this down to a 13 by 19. And what I can do is I'm just going to I have my move tool selected. I'm going to Alt, click, and drag. And then I'm going to Control T, and I'm just going to flip this bad boy horizontal. And then I kind of get like a left-right balance type of thing. And then I might put maybe a different type of cloud here in the middle. So let me do a new layer for that. And let me grab a new brush. Who this? Let's do this one. It's a little longer. And of course it's really small, so I'm going to Control Alt and then drag it out to the right. It's going to make my brush as big as I can make it. I'm on this layer, and of course I'm going to use black to stamp. And what this brush does is it actually rotates and resizes. So I made sure I got a good big one, if you see that here. And then all I have to do is copy the layer style from this one, and then I can paste that layer style on the new one. And this is one of those more transparent clouds. So I'm probably going to bring that one to the back, and I will make these more transparent just by bringing down this fill. Oh, my apologies, the opacity, because it has effects on it. If you bring down just the fill, it won't necessarily bring down the opacity of the effects. So I'm bringing down the I'm trying to see how much opacity I want to do here. Let me do 100%. And then I'm just going to group these two and bring down the overall opacity of just that layer. That way I get to see how these effectively play out. There we go. And even this one I can bring down the opacity of just a little. And that's only if I want a cloud. So I can group these and call these my clouds. Not louds, my bad. C-L-O-U-D-S. Awesome. Okay. So I think that is about it. As far as the requirements of it, of course, I would tweak this so that we can replace the logos and that sort of thing in the future. But I know Lakeisha probably needs this as soon as possible. So I'm going to make sure that she has this, and then I'll work on it a little bit more to make sure that we have all the other elements that we want in there. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is a layer mask, and this was from class number 110, I believe. Let me see. 110 was it? Yep, class number 110. I have a collection of some masks that I've created over time, and I'm going to use one of these masks to kind of give us a creative edge, because we're going to be printing this one 13 by 19. So we have that one. I'm thinking I might use slate. Yeah, I'll use slate. Slate is a very classic one that you can use for anything from, you know, crazy things and birthday parties on down to very classy memorial images, even like weddings and very special events. So that slate one is just pretty timeless. So what I'm doing right now is, I know this is about a 13 by 19 orientation because all of my clipping masks are within this 13 by 19 sheet. So this is going to kind of let me know, and I didn't lock in my transformation. I should have known better. You have to hit enter to lock in your transformation in Photoshop. I'm making sure all of my extents are still on my artboard, even though it looks like it's clear or transparent at the edge. You cannot trust that. So you have to make sure that you're staying clean towards those edges. Now my background is still going to be in there, but what I'm doing is I'm using this slate mask to create an area that's going to clip all of my background. So I'm going to hold down Control, click my thumbnail for my slate. It selected all of my active pixels. I'll turn it off and I'll say, okay, it looks like everything fits in here. That looks good. And then I will take everything that is considered background, which is pretty much here to here. I'll group it. I'll call this background. Let me call it background all, just in case I already have something called background. And then I'm going to create a new layer mask. When I do that, everything clips within there, and then I can kind of get an idea for, if I were making this 13 by 19, what needs to kind of be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go to my large logo, which, did I touch it? There it is. Where is it? Oh, background logo. Duh. I'm looking for the name of it. It was there the whole time. So Control T, I'm going to transform it to where even if I print this on 13 by 19, like I said, sometimes things look cool when you have them pop out, and sometimes you lose a little bit of your intention. So I'm going to make sure that I keep this as a design that'll work for 13 by 19 and for an all over. And it's clear what my intention is here. To see the logo there, but for the logo to be kind of faded into the background. Now, when I do this as a 13 by 19, I lose a little bit of my stadium feel, but I think it's still there. It still gives that presentation. And if I want to, I can turn off the front effects here, which kind of give it like a little bit of a abstract kind of swirly look to it. You may or may not want to keep that on. Lakeisha, let me know if you like this little white swirly stuff on here, or you want me to turn it off. And then my clouds down below kind of give me a little bit of interest down here where it was just solid black before. And I can even change this color. Let me do a color overlay to my solid black. And maybe instead of black, I want to color it the navy blue. Or I want to color it the red. You can kind of make your own idea of what that color really does down there. So let me know, Lakeisha, do you like the black? You want it to be blue? You want it to possibly be red? And that red looks a little pink, so I would have to shift that red a little bit to be happy with it. But just let me know. And it looks like I need to clean up this arm a little bit because I can still see a little bit of a hard line there. And then here's another thing. We can do a gradient overlay instead of a color overlay. And we can do all the colors, all of the colors. We can do black. Then we can go to the navy. This is where you just get fancy for no reason. And then maybe it goes to white. And then we can even reverse that. We can even add the red into that. And in this case, where are my clouds? I think I want to make sure my clouds are a little more opaque now. And then what I will also do is take everything in my top layer. So that's my background all. I'm going to group all of this and call this my foreground all, because I want to make sure that my layer mask also applies to the foreground. So any of that extra logo that was hanging out there would be clipped off. And there we have it. And if I don't want the logo clipped off, I just put it on its own layer and it kind of pops out a little bit. Alright, so let's see what this looks like without any of the overall on. And then you usually have this really weird background layer that I turn on just to see where everything is cleaned up and if it will print well as a 13 by 19, and I believe that it will. So when I turn this off, I can straight up save this or export this as a PNG, but usually after I turn it to a true 13 by 19. Okay, and then Lakeisha says blue. And I'm sorry, Lakeisha, there is a lag whenever we're doing these live, so I didn't see a response till after I changed some stuff. So let me know. I'm going to leave it like it is right now just to give a couple of, it might even be 1 minute, 2 minute delay. So let me know if you like it, how it is right now, because it fades from blue to red, or if you want me to change it back to just blue by itself. Just let me know. Okay, cool. So you like the gradient. Good deal. So if this is to your liking, let me know. I probably will take this Watermark. Let me group it. I'm going to add a little drop shadow on here so that it looks like it's not just sitting there for no reason. We'll make it pop a little bit. And I'm just playing with my shadow options here. That way we get a little something out of it. And I think that's about how I want it right there. Let me go ahead and hit OK. And let's see, our original image. Got a little bit of the element of the sky. We just put it more towards the bottom there. And I don't think we need the fans in there because we have so many images already. So let me know if this is good. I think we worked well with the inspiration image. Just let me know how you feel about it, and I will go ahead and turn this into a 13 by 19. So any of you who are interested in what we did tonight and you want a more in-depth kind of walkthrough of these types of courses, I encourage you to go to academy.innatelab.com. So let me make sure that I tell you all this. We have an innate, oops, I can even spell my own website right now, innatelab.com. And then we also have an academy. So innatelab.com is where you would go to, purchase your templates, purchase your ink. Shout out that the True Colors ink, y'all have definitely been killing it with this ink and making me really, really proud. We also have sublimation blanks, so I would love for you to check that out. We even have the conversion kits. If you get yourself a T7270 and you want to convert it to sublimation, we have everything that you need, from the chips to the cartridges with the funnels, the maintenance carts, and also, of course, the True Colors ink. And when I tell you the True Colors ink, the 7270 is some serious ink. It is really cool. It's really vibrant, very much true colors. You get real blacks, real blues, real reds. Okay, so I definitely want to encourage you all to try the ink. The ink is also available for the desktop printers, be it the 7270, I'm sorry, the 7720. If you have EcoTank, this is perfect for you because the EcoTank's bottles fit right into your system, just like the Epson EcoTanks. So if you have the EcoTank system, of course you don't need the cartridges, but if you have the Epson 7710, 20, etc., you can use these cartridges along with the ink here. And if you have any Epson desktop that doesn't take these cartridges, you just have to find your empty cartridges from somewhere else and then use the True Colors ink in there, okay? And we also have a print head cleaner that works phenomenally. So definitely also check out these socks. Y'all have been killing it with these socks lately. And I think it's because they have a free pre-inserted jig, which means that when the socks come to you, they're already on a cardboard jig. And it's not cardboard that leaves lines. It's a cardstock jig. And it's already perfectly ready for you to sublimate. So you do not have to worry about loading your socks onto a jig. You can display them like this. You can even give them to the customers with the jig still inside of them so that the customers can kind of see the images better. But I just wanted to brag a little bit about that a little bit. Y'all have definitely been doing some cool stuff with that. We have the graduation stoles and the no-sew masks. So these are the flat masks that are really, really easy to sublimate, fold them, and go. All right, so I just want to explain to y'all the difference between the website and the academy. So the academy, we have live courses. We'll have a live course coming up this Sunday. Usually it's every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless I tell you a day otherwise. But the class that we just did, where we did all the color change, we started, this particular image was a cartoon image. We started with the image had like a medium sort of tan skin tone. We were able to change it to a very fair skin tone and also to a very brown skin and dark skin tone. So we played with how we're able to achieve that. We also changed the colors of the images here. We changed the colors of the ribbons in the background. We changed the colors of the text. So the whole point of this particular course was color change and blending modes. Okay, so we spent the whole class pretty much doing our own version of this design, but also learning about color and color theory. All right, so that was one, and then the other one, that I told you that was relevant tonight. I'm trying to think of which one it was. I can't even think right now. The last, oh, this was the one with the grunge mask. Y'all frequently ask me how to do the masks and how I turn it from an all over shirt to a 13 by 19. I use my mask. So this particular class taught you how to, you design something, yeah, it's all over, it looks good, but you want something that cuts it out of the background and looks better than just a straight up rectangle on a shirt. This class taught you how to collage. So we went through and we collaged our images. So we created a flat collage that's frameable, or like could be an all over design, whatever you want to do. And then we showed you how to crop it down to this 13 by 19 mask area. Okay. So those were some of the concepts that we learned tonight. These are the classes that correspond to some of that. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay. But I think we're done with this one. So let me show you how to turn it to a 13 by 19. So right now, all I have to do to turn it back to my all over design is to disable this layer mask here, disable the layer mask here. I could turn back on my t-shirt guides here. And if I were sending this, let's say you want to send this to me to print the all over, this is what you would save the JPEG to print. And as a matter of fact, I need to clean that image up right there. Let me go to that arm and get my paintbrush. I need my soft brush here. And let me bring the brush size down. And I just need to clean that image up. I thought it was faded off well, but I was slipping. And even this whole thing, let me Control T, transform it. I think I'm going to rotate it just a little bit more so I can bring it over and not cover them up too much. So I'm doing my little last minute tweaks that I do when I get to seeing a final design. There we go. All right, so that is an all over version of it. I could come back and do paint splashes on top of anything, but I think it looks really clean like this. And yeah, let's go ahead and get ready to save this in 13 by 19 now. So in order to make it 13 by 19, I'm going to turn that off, activate my layer masks here, and then I'm going to go ahead and save this as the all over. And then in order to save it as a 13 by 19, I have to go to File, Save As. Oh, I have to wait for it to save right now. Awesome, awesome. I love seeing the words love it. And amazing. Both of those combined, even better. All right, so let's go ahead and do File, Save As now that it's completed the save. And when I do it as a 13 by 19, I just take off the word all over. I'm going to save it. This little dialog pops up. I say OK. And it is saving. It's done. Now there's a few things I need to do. First thing is I need to crop it to be a 13 by 19 orientation. So I'm going to hit 13 and 19. And it looks like everything fits perfect in that area. So I'm going to hit enter and enter. Now I always make sure delete crop pixels is off. If you see a check there, redo this step. Go undo this, and I should have told you that before I told you to crop it or hit enter. But you want to make sure delete crop pixels is off just in case you have some data outside of this area, some part of the picture or a part of your background you don't want to cut off. If you hit delete crop pixels, anything outside of this artboard, this new artboard, will be completely erased. So you don't want to do that just in case you have some elements outside of that area. Alright, so I think this is saved. Now it's 13 by 19 ratio, but it's not the 13 by 19 size. And the way we know is we go to image, image size, and we'll see that this is about 25 inches wide, 25 by 36 right now. We need to break that down to 13 by 19. And we see that significantly changes the size now. So we went from this file being probably somewhere around 80 megabytes for the all over shirt, and now it's going down to about 16 megabytes. So we're going to say okay to that. And another thing, when I do my 13 by 19 orientation, it's a taller orientation than when I do my all over shirt. So I might take my Patriot word here and just make it a little bit bigger, bring it down so it doesn't seem like so much empty space here. And I'm just going to give it a second to render this image before I could do anything else. Or Photoshop probably won't let me do anything else right now. All right, I'll do Control-0 so I can zoom into the contents or the extents of my board. I can get rid of my original, well, maybe I won't because I might need to come back and add some of the elements later. And I tell you what, I'm going to post in the Innate Creatives group, anyone who may want to do a version of this that has some little league players or something. I don't want y'all telling me what, well, how about this? I'll do it for two people. One to do a, like a significant team or something. So I'll show y'all how to do it for your team, because of course you're going to be doing that for personal use, for you to be watching the games and wearing and showing off. So I'll do one version for that, and then I'll do, and it'll just be me showing you how to edit the template. But I really want a template where I get some of these beautiful and talented kids and local players and that sort of thing, so that they feel like a celebrity, not only on that t-shirt, but they'll be on the website, and you will get the template for free. Okay, so if I choose your picture, so normally what I do is I say, hey, here's the template that I'm working on next, drop a photo, and that will be in the Innate Creatives Facebook group. So make sure you're in that group and you keep your eyes peeled, because probably sometime tomorrow I will do the full video for this. You know, I'll make a template for this type of image, and then I'll do a video showing you how to manipulate everything about the template, okay? Including, like I said, I'm going to probably make a version of it where you can change out the colors of the helmet, change out the colors of the face guard here, change out the colors of the glove, and that's going to take me some time. And if you really want to know how to do those type of steps for yourself from scratch, then I would definitely suggest you take a look at course number 112 in the Innate Academy. All right, so I think that's it. I'm ready to save this as a PNG, so it does not have a background. So let's do File. I'll do Save As. Choose my file type as a PNG. There we go. I do save it as the large file size. And Lakeisha, I'm also going to, because you allowed us to do this one on Facebook Live and make it a learning experience for others, I'm also going to send you the Photoshop version of this, not just the PNG, okay? So, and because you're a member of the Innate Creatives Facebook group, I'll go ahead and send that over to you right now. And in the meantime, if anyone has any questions, I'm going to stick around for about 15 minutes, and then I have some tax paperwork to file before midnight. Isn't that fun? State tax stuff, you know. They want their coinage, so I have to make sure I get off in a good amount of time tonight. Normally I stay around and just hang with y'all, but tonight I gotta get that paperwork in. All right, so Lakeisha, go ahead and be looking out for that one like now-ish. I'm sending over now. It may take a little while for it to send over to you because it's going to send over Google Drive links because these files are huge. Just give it a little moment there. And I can, in the meantime, tell you all what we're going to be doing for the new class, which is this one? So for this Sunday, this is going to start our element series, and I'm really excited about it because this has always been like a theme that I've loved to do since childhood. When I would do my fashion design, I had an element series. Any type of design or creative work that I do, I like to look to nature. And this is just one of those things that excite me. So we'll do fire, we'll do earth, we'll do water, have like a splash thing we're going to do. We will do earth, well, I already said earth, and we're going to do like a family tree one. I think that one is going to pique a lot of your interest because you won't see these type of designs almost anywhere. So especially when we can do something that we know people will like and we can get them into doing sublimation for their family reunion shirts, I think that'll be a good look. All right, Lakeisha, that file has been sent, so make sure you check that out and let me know if you need any changes. Just email me. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing on Sunday, and this is already set up, so you'll get this template for free. But the idea is that you have to change the elements in here to fit whatever photo you bring in. So you can bring in your favorite sports player. You can bring in your favorite sports player could be your nephew or your grandchild. It doesn't have to be like a prominent player. But if you do decide to do a prominent player, that's good too. So we're going to do this on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I said, this will start off the element series. So I just wanted to just briefly show you that one. And I'll do a little video probably tomorrow, a short video showing you the things that we're going to do to just manipulate some of the things that are in here. All right. You are most welcome, my love. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your support. And I really look forward to working with you in the future. And my condolences, my most sincere condolences on your loss. I know that every time we do remembrance and memorial type of projects, I really like to put a little love and time into it. So I think we were able to do that tonight through collaborative effort. And I thank you for trusting me with that, okay? So let me go ahead and close that out. No, I'm not going to save. I did want to make sure that this one is saved. And meanwhile, if y'all don't have any questions, y'all are quiet tonight. Y'all must be tired. I know it's Tuesday, just not even over the hump of the week yet. So I appreciate you all for hanging out with me. And I'm going to go ahead and make a post in the Innate Creatives group. And I know I've been absent lately, but excuse me, just cough automatically happened out of nowhere. But trust me, I'm getting better. I'm trying to get in there, but thank Erica Kane for being available for you all. Even when I'm well, she's the number one person to contact as far as understanding what's going on. And also, if you have any questions about templates, issues that you're having, she's the number one lady for you. And then also we have these topics here. So you can, if you have questions, you can post questions there. If you want to show off your templates, like things that you've done with the templates, I have a post on here, which is like a show off post. And I'd love for you to put that on there. Okay. I see it looks like it's a question here. Okay, so that was the one for Adobe Reader. And I think, yep, somebody already answered that. Cool. All right, so what was I about to do? Oh, I was about to tell you all to please drop a photo if you want to be featured if you want it, because it might not be a photo of you, want it to be featured in the next tutorial video. And it's a template. All right. So let's go ahead. And well, this is inside of our group. So Lakeisha, if you're still here, is it okay if I share this image in our excuse me, I won't put it on the website if you don't have permission for that, but is it okay if I put this in our announcement to our group? It's not public, it's private within our group. I just want to make sure I have your permission before I post it. Otherwise, I know I can, just pull some random images in there, and I'm fine with doing that if you feel like that is more appropriate. But you all will have to tell me what Patriot players are. I don't even know. Let me see. Patriots players. Let me see if Googlage will set me up with the more popular. Was Cam Newton? How recently did he become the quarterback of the New England Patriots? Y'all know I don't follow sports too much, only because y'all love sports and I love art. So I usually try to hook y'all up. So if that's a new thing, then I don't know. I guess that is so weird. I guess for the longest time, Brady, I wonder, is Tom Brady, is he still playing or is he retired? I don't know what's going on in the world today. So let me see. If I put Patriots here and I choose, I'm going to use my tools. I'm going to see what was posted in the past week. That way I can see some relevant players possibly, and it'll give me like some type of understanding of what's really going on, because I don't be knowing, and y'all will be the first to tell me if I put if I put an old player on my artwork. So Cam Newton's playing for it. You know what? That might be pretty cool. So let's do Cam for the Patriots and see what we come up with. I would like an action image. There looks like a good action image. Let's see. Let's set also the tools to large. See if we get some large size images. There we go. Bim meow. Let's open image in new tab to make sure it's a large image. It's good enough. Right click, save image as. And I guess I'm going to go ahead and do just a quick version for you all. Because this isn't the template, of course, I have to clean some stuff up, make it to where you can change the colors of the helmet, all that good stuff. So let me go ahead and do remove BG. BG, not BQ. I know I'm hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet. So that BQ was about to pop up. All right, download image resolution. It's going to be higher. Save that. I'll say this Cam Patriots. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm on my photo layer. Oh, excuse me. Starting to cough. I've been talking too much. That's what the problem is. So I'm going to turn off, just to be respectful, because I didn't get a response yet. We're going to turn off the beautiful young man's image, and we are going to just replace it with a little Cam. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Please tell me if this man ain't playing for this team and I'm looking crazy right now on the tubage. Don't let me fail on the YouTube, bitch, okay? I really look to you all. I look to you all to help me out with these things. All right, so now it's going to look like I need to take my helmet and maybe Maybe I could do a little more with it since we just have one image. Zoom out a little bit. And maybe I'll turn off the layer mask so that I get a little, you know, I like my little pop outs and stuff. But just for the clouds, I'm going to take a layer mask and bring it just onto the clouds. And the clouds don't necessarily mean clouds. It doesn't necessarily mean heaven. It could look like smoke or like smoke on the field or just a fade off effect. So I don't want you all to get like so wrapped up to where you feel like everything is so literal in art. I know I do that a lot and I put a lot of pressure on myself. So I'm trying to teach you all not to put that much pressure on yourself. Having a little bit of hard time with my placement here. I have a little time to work on that. Control T. I might make it a little bit smaller. Turn off the clipping mask for this one. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. I just didn't want it looking like the hand just pops out of nowhere. But that might be what it looks like for right now. Let's see if I have another image of Cam that I can kind of maybe watermark in the background. There we go. I'm looking for one with like his jersey in the back. And this is just real quick, y'all. I'm not putting any thought into this, so don't judge me and I won't judge you. Well, actually, I do. I judge y'all when y'all have those harsh lines on the bottom of y'all images. I'm not going to lie. I tell y'all about them all the time. I tell y'all how I feel, and I tell you how to fix it. Okay, thank you. I appreciate somebody confirming he plays for the Patriots. Now, I don't know if anybody, you know, is a fan of this particular team or not. That's not my business. What I'm trying to show you is how you would go about achieving whatever results you want in the same way. So whether we were doing this for Memorial or doing it for your favorite team so you can wear on game day, or you can show off and do your thing. So I'm going to have him kind of popping out, but I'm going to have him behind this image. And I'm going to see what it looks like if I bring that opacity down a little bit. There we go. So just a little something. Like I said, I didn't spend too much time on this, and you don't have to spend too much time on this. I just want you to kind of get the idea here. Bring him down. And I'm still, even though I can tell that he's going to be cut off here by the words, I'm still going to fade that off just in case. Sometimes you don't know till you print it on a shirt and you see those hard lines. So I'm just going to use my black on this layer mask and fade away. There we go. And then that way I kind of see his name. So there we goes. And I feel like I'm kind of missing something here. I'm not going to play with it too much because I just want something that I can post up on this on our Innate Creatives group tonight to let you all know that we're going to do a switch up version of this for the template video, and I'm going to make a template of this where you can change out the colors of the helmet. You can put your favorite players. You can do your local teams. I think this will be amazing to do for local teams because you'll have the color of the helmet that you can change out the colors, the gloves where you can change out the colors, and you'll be able to change out the logos. So don't imagine this as the New England Patriots. Imagine it as your town Lions or Hornets or whatever your local team mascot is. Imagine that. And that's what I want to do for the video. I want somebody to drop some pictures of maybe your little league team players, and it doesn't have to be, well, it does have to be football because I'm putting the helmet in there. But you can imagine this doesn't have to have the football helmet in it, but this will probably be a major draw to the design. Okay. And okay, Keisha said yes, I can do it. Awesome. So I'll do the all over version, and then I'll do the Cam Newton as a 13:19 version, and you all will understand that it can go either way. All right. So let me go ahead and export this, save for web. And when I do something like this and I save it for web, I need to go ahead and put my little watermark on there. I already know y'all try to tell me all the time, and I forget all the time. So let's go ahead and just mark this. innatelab.com. Meow. And here's another thing I would do. Just while I'm here, I know I'm doing it. I'm doing the most. I'm gonna bring this image above the clouds and above the word marks because I want just this part of his hand right here to look like he's going in front. So I'm going to do a layer mask here and just paint away. Make it look like just his hand is in front of the words, right? A little extra techniqueage for you all tonight. All right, so let's save. And I'm going to now export, save for web, and I'm going to make it tiny. 500. So if somebody takes my image from a 500 by 300 image and they print it on a shirt with Innate Lab on it, at that point, it just is what it is. Okay, I probably won't care too much about that because it will be a poorly represented image, and it, at least it gives me credit. So yeah, I have been aware, and you all have made me quite aware of folks taking some of my designs and stuff, and I appreciate you all looking out. Let's shift that over just a little bit. All right, so that one, and then I have the all over version. And I just want y'all to know that I really, really appreciate y'all. I do what I do from my heart, and you all allow me to do what I love to do. So I appreciate y'all support, y'all working with me, understanding that I'm a human sometimes, and working with me on almost anything that I put out there. I appreciate y'all, especially my super fans. My super fans, boy, I tell you, I don't know if I would still be doing this if it were not for you all. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take off the guides for this one so you can get a better idea of what this looks like. And we'll do an export. Oh, I guess I got to put Innate Lab on this one too. Why did I do that? I just need a text layer. And this one, like I said, it'll be internal on our group, just for our group. And because I can't really see that there, I'm going to put it down here. And if you ever have text on top of something you just can't get it right, then just do you a little outer glow. If you do an outer glow in a contrasting color, it will almost guarantee that you'll be able to see it no matter what color is behind it. Okay, so if I take this now, I can put it anywhere, and because I have that outer glow, it's going to pop. That text is going to pop. Okay, so we will export this and save for web. Again, I'll just do a 500 pixel resolution so nobody will steal your graphic and try to print your design that we just did. Especially for an all over, I would sure hope not. But you have people that try it. So I'm not going to act like that does not exist. And I'm just saving this now. And then we'll go ahead and pull it into the post that we were making for the creatives. One and two. All right. So that's it, loves. I think we are good into what, 9 o'clock now. So we spent a couple hours together tonight. I ain't mad at you. Oh, Brady plays for Tampa now? What? Oh, wow. That's good information. Well, I'm sure y'all are going to keep me up on this because once it becomes football season, I know it's football season because y'all keep me y'all keep me busy with football design. So I learned a lot about football just from you all and what you want to see, and it always ends up being something really interesting to me. Okay, and it ends up helping you all too. All right. Alrighty, love. So I think that's it. I don't see any more questions coming through or anything, and looks like y'all are getting tired too. So I appreciate you dearly. I will check y'all next time. I probably will check in tomorrow with some more videos. So you all make sure that you like the video, that you subscribe, and also make sure that the notification bell is selected to all so that you see when I'm going live and I'm showing things, because sometimes I'll even do giveaways, or I'll give away a template live just because somebody's there and they give me a good idea. Okay, so and at the same time, this is your one chance to really get my attention and have me answer questions for you, because I'm so inundated lately that I am not really on. I'm not even the one answering messages and stuff most of the time. I'm that inundated. So if you want to really get time with me, either you'll want to join the classes on the academy.innatelab.com. So we can have, it's a very small group right now. We usually have no more than 6 to 10 people on at a time doing the classes. But even when we had 30 people in a class, we were still able to all get down to the nitty gritty, and everyone had help. So definitely either the classes, or if you catch me live, that's about the only time that I'm able to really connect with you all. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all for real. And for now, until later, bye.